Shalom, children. In our story last time, Yeshua had called Eleazar to life after he had been dead for 4 days. This event was told to the Pharisee leaders, who then determined to have Yeshua killed in order to protect their position and influence over the people. To avoid their wicked schemes, Yeshua and the taught ones traveled to the Galilee region, where he could continue to preach about the kingdom. It was nearly time for the appointed feast of Pesach and unleavened bread. Yahweh had instructed Moshe, when they were in the land, all men were to go up to Jerusalem to observe the Moedim. So Yeshua and his taught ones set off. Whilst they travelled, Yeshua began to explain to the disciples what was soon going to happen to him. He said, "We are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be betrayed by the ruling Kohanim and the sages. They will condemn him to death, and he will be delivered unto the Gentiles, who will mock him, scourge him, and crucify him. On the 3rd day he shall rise again." But the taught ones did not understand what he meant. On their way up to Jerusalem, they had decided to go via Jericho. In the city there lived a very rich man called Zacchaeus, who collected taxes for the Roman government. Do you remember that one of Yeshua's taught ones also used to collect taxes? He was not liked very much by the community, was he? Well, it was the same thing with Zacchaeus. He was not very popular with the people of Jericho. Zacchaeus had heard about Yeshua and wanted to see him, but unfortunately so did everybody else in the city. The crowd which had gathered was very large, and Zacchaeus was not a tall man, so he had trouble seeing over the top of the people. Being determined to catch a glimpse of Yeshua, he ran ahead of the crowd and climbed up a sycamore tree to get a better look. Imagine his surprise when Yeshua stopped right under the tree where he was sitting. Yeshua looked up at him and said, "Zacchaeus, come down, for I have to stay at your house today." Well, Zacchaeus was overjoyed and hurried down to lead the way to his home. The people were not very happy, though. They grumbled, saying, "He has gone to stay with a man who is a sinner." However, they didn't know what was happening in the heart of the rich tax collector. Having spent some time with Yeshua in his home, Zacchaeus stood up and announced to him, "I am giving half of what I own to the poor, and any money that I have gained through cheating and lying to people, I'm going to give back 4 times as much." Zacchaeus' announcement tells us how sorry and repentant he was. The Torah instructs a thief to only pay double back what he has stolen. For example, if a man steals a cow from his neighbor, he has to give the animal back to its owner, plus give him 1 more. But Zacchaeus was willing to give back 4 coins for each one he had gained through deception. Yeshua told him, "Today, deliverance has come to this house, since Zacchaeus is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and save what was lost." Those who stood nearby and heard Yeshua say, "Deliverance has come today," thought the reign of Elohim was about to appear right then and there. So Yeshua spoke a parable to them. A certain nobleman, that is a ruler, was going to a faraway country to receive a kingdom. Afterwards he would return. He called his 10 servants to him and gave each one a measure of silver. He told them to trade the money until he returned. But his subjects hated him and sent a messenger after him. "We will not have this man reign over us," the messenger said. It came to be after receiving the kingdom, the ruler returned. He sent for the 10 servants to see how much they had all gained whilst he was away. The first servant said, "Your 1 measure of silver has gained 10 times as much." The nobleman said, "Well done, good servant. Because you were faithful with a little amount, you now have authority over 10 cities." The second servant came and said, "Master, your measure of silver has gained 5 times as much." The nobleman said, "Good servant, you shall have authority over 5 cities." Another one of the servants came to him and said, "Master, here is your measure of silver back. I kept it hidden in a handkerchief, for I was afraid of you. You are a hard man. You take up what you did not lay down, and reap what you did not sow." The ruler said, "You wicked servant." He took his measure of silver and gave it to the first man, who was now ruling over 10 cities. The nobleman said, "Those who have shown responsibility shall be given more responsibility." He then ordered that the men who did not want him to rule over them be taken away and destroyed. In this parable, Yeshua was telling the people that, like the nobleman, he too was going to go away to receive a kingdom. When he returns, he will ask us what we did with the gifts and talents he left us whilst he was away. What account will we give to him when he returns? Will we be like the good servant who showed responsibility? His gifts multiplied in his hands, and then he was given more. Or will we be like the wicked servant who hid his talents away? No one benefited, and what he had was taken away from him and given to someone else. Once again, this is a good reminder for us that we need to be thoughtful about what we do with the time that we have been given. Well, children, that is the end of our story for today. So we will see you next time for another exciting journey in the life of Yeshua. Shalom.
Oh, children of Yah, beloved sons, you have overcome. The battle has been won. Greater is He who is living in you than the